Hello and welcome to the State of the Fleet Industry, a weekly video series produced by Automotive Fleet magazine. I'm Mike Antich, editor of Automotive Fleet, and today I'd like to examine what's occurring in the fleet industry for the week of November 14, 2022. And for this week's episode, I'd like to discuss how the ongoing inventory shortage of a wide cross-section of automotive replacement parts are increasing fleet downtime and likewise increasing fleet maintenance expenses. And these shortages vary by type of part, by the make and model of vehicle, and the length of these delays run the gamut. They run the gamut from days to weeks to months or even multiple months. In addition to the excessive vehicle downtime, a key complaint by fleet managers is not knowing when to expect a backordered part to arrive. I mean, you may have a part on backorder, but invariably there's no ETA as to when that part will arrive. And when this occurs, the fleet manager is caught between a rock and a hard place. They can't predict to the user group when the fleet vehicle will be back on the road generating revenue. The reality is that today, when a vehicle incurs an unscheduled repair and a part has to be ordered, no one seems to know exactly how long it'll take to fix the vehicle. And it's not just the fleet manager who has this uncertainty. Even the repair facilities themselves often don't know when a backordered part will be received. And what's made this part shortage even worse for fleets is the ongoing difficulty in sourcing new replacement vehicles. And this difficulty has forced many companies to keep existing fleet vehicles in service way beyond their scheduled replacement dates. And as a result, these higher mileage vehicles are now experiencing the predictable uptick of unscheduled repairs. And this spike in unscheduled repairs is being further complicated when a replacement part is not in inventory and has to be put on back order. All of this has resulted in longer repair cycles. And by this, I mean it's the measured time from when a vehicle comes to a repair facility to when it is repaired and ultimately picked up by the vehicle owner. Nowadays, vehicles can sit non-productive at repair centers for weeks or even months just waiting for an essential part to arrive. And this has been going on for 2 years now. These part shortages first started to appear in the fourth quarter of 2020. And since then, there's been an ongoing series of sporadic inventory shortages for a variety of automotive components throughout calendar years 2021 and 2022. But what is needlessly aggravating the delay in repairing vehicles is the lack of communication from service facilities. Service shops are notorious for not returning calls on a timely basis. And here are some examples I've heard from fleet managers. Quote, one of our drivers took their diesel truck to a dealer for repair, but it just sat there for a ridiculous amount of time. When I finally got through to someone and asked why the delay, I was informed that they're not a diesel shop. Well, why didn't you tell the driver that when the truck was first dropped off? End of quote. Another fleet manager likewise complained about repair shops not returning phone calls, which again creates uncertainty as to the reason for the delay in repair. And here's what this fleet manager said, quote, this lack of communication provides no transparencies as to why a delay is occurring. After repeated efforts on my part to contact the shop, I found out that it was just a $30 part that was holding up the entire repair process. End of quote. And in this time of scrambling for parts, fleet managers also need to be vigilant that repairs are being done correctly. One horror story I heard was having the wrong suspension installed on a truck for the wrong GVW, which turned out to be a very expensive mistake. So in addition to the long downtime, the continued part shortages is also driving up the cost of maintenance and repairs. In fact, some used replacement parts actually cost more than the same part that is new. And there are two reasons why this is occurring. First, the new part might not be available, or second, there is so much demand for the used parts that is driving up their prices. In fact, during the past 2 years, part prices have gone up 20 to 30% on average. And this is just on average. Some parts have literally doubled in price. One factor causing part prices to increase has been higher cost of commodities used to manufacture them. And these increased manufacturing costs are being passed on to end users in the way of higher prices. And as I said earlier, there's a wide cross-section of parts that are in low inventory, but one component that is really in scarce supply today is catalytic converters, primarily due to the large number of thefts. But it's not just a shortage of catalytic converters. There's a long list of other replacement parts that are in tight supply. And here's just a sampling, ABS brake modules, engine sensors, transmission control modules, windshields, and the list goes on. But where the part shortage is particularly bad is repairing accident damaged fleet vehicles. Part constraints is a major issue throughout the collision repair industry. Today, on average, it is taking 15 to 30 days longer to get parts at body shops compared to what it was in 2019. And this is a huge issue for fleets because, on average, 20% of the vehicles in a corporate fleet are involved in either a preventable or non preventable accident and need to be repaired. These accident damage repairs often require the replacement of entire assemblies, and currently there is a shortage of sub-assembly components, especially those that include embedded microchips. So you might ask, how long will these part shortages continue? Well, nobody knows for sure, but the forecast is that this imbalance between supply and demand for automotive parts will continue throughout 2023 and quite likely beyond that. So, with this final observation, I'd like to conclude my State of the Fleet Industry presentation for the week of November 14, 2022, and I'd like to thank you for watching.